So on the 21st, New York Times came out with a great article called Tesla Reports Another Quarterly Profit, but its growth may be slowing. I mean, okay, sure, let's get into it. Tesla on Wednesday reported a profit for the fifth consecutive quarter, putting it back on track to report its only annual profit since its founding in 2003. Tesla said it made $331 million or 27 cents per share in the 3 months that ended in September. The company recorded a profit of $143 million in the same period the year earlier. More than doubled the profit. Not exciting to New York Times. The automaker set records for sales, revenue, net income, and free cash flow. Still, this author is not impressed. Q3 was the best quarter in our history, said Mr. Musk. The company delivered 139,600 cars. That was a 50% increase from Q2, when sales and production were severely hampered by the Ro-Ro. It produced 145,000 vehicles and had revenue of $8 to the $7 billion. That's juicy. The company's profit was helped by $397 million from the sale of regulatory credits, 3 times as much as in the same quarter the year earlier. Now, let's point out real quick, that money is real. That money is mandatory. That money is less than those companies that give the money to Tesla would pay otherwise if they had to just pay the fines outright. So this is real money. It's still real money. Nobody complains when General Electric gets a tax break for creating wind turbines. It's just part of doing business. But Tesla faced questions, by whom, about whether that strong sales growth is tapering off. No, they don't. Analysts believe Tesla's sales in the United States have already slowed, and they have said it may be suffering from sluggishness in other parts of the world. Now, check this out. They made a record number of cars. They sold a record number of cars. They only have 14 days of inventory on hand at any given time, which is among the lowest in the industry. Some makers have 6 months of inventory already built and no customers to buy it, pretending for a second that there's no demand when clearly all the demand is immediately satisfied by new. I mean, come on. What are you talking about here, man? In China, Tesla has cut the prices several times this year on the sales of the Model 3 sedans it makes in Shanghai, and sales of the Model 3 declined in September compared to July and August. So, first of all, the price cuts are based on production costs. It's okay to cut the cost of your car when you have 27.7% automotive margin, 23.7% if you don't even count the $300 million in regulatory credits, $400 million. So that is ridiculous. And sales did decline in September because apparently this author is unaware of the fact that the factory was closed for 10 days in September, as it is every year in September, as almost all factories are. That's how it works. And in Europe, the company faces growing competition from traditional automakers. Well, in the EV space, perhaps, but not in automotive. Sales of cars are down this year in Europe, but Tesla's sales are doing well, growing nicely. They're not up in every single market in which they serve because some markets, get more cars. What are you going to do? It's ridiculous. Tesla is losing ground in Europe to fierce competitors that have offered more affordable electric vehicles. Yeah, that's true. There are cheaper electric cars out there, and those ones are also selling essentially as many as they can build. The thirst for EVs is, at this point, growing a bit insatiable. Mr. Bryan also said that Tesla's Model Y hatchback seemed to be taking sales away from the Model 3 rather than adding to the company's sales. To be determined, I guess. We have no evidence of that. There's no surplus of Model 3s sitting around. Mr. Musk last month appeared to temper expectations when he forecast that sales would rise 30 to 40% this year, implying a range of 482 to 514,000 cars, which, by the way, is not tempering expectations because that has always been the guidance. As of the end of last year, the guidance for 2020 was 500,000 units. To sell 500,000 cars this year, Tesla would have to sell 182,000 cars in the fourth quarter. Now, with Q3 being a record quarter at 145,000, you would think 182 impossible, except for the fact that Shanghai has added a third shift and a lower price variant for the Chinese market using less energy dense batteries. There's no reason to think they're not going to push like crazy to get there. He did not elaborate on the outlook for the fourth quarter, but he did suggest that he's expecting a significant increase in sales in 2021. Mr. Musk said Tesla is working to cut costs so it can lower car prices and make them affordable to more people. Yes, these are true statements. He did suggest the outlook for next year is fantastic. And that's because we're still selling all the cars we can build. In the conference call, Mr. Musk was asked by an analyst if 2021 sales might fall between 840,000 and 1 million cars. This range is based on increased production Tesla is expecting from its plants in Fremont, Shanghai, and new factories it's building near Berlin and Austin, Texas. Mr. Musk replied, "It's in that vicinity." And it is. And I'll tell you why. Fremont, we already know, can make about 500,000 cars. Giga Shanghai can already make 250,000 cars, and Phase 2 of Shanghai, which is significantly larger than Phase 1, is already about done. It only took Shanghai 1 year to ramp production from 0 to 250,000. Model Y production is going to ramp too. Plus, there will be some production from Berlin and Austin, though how much remains to be seen. Both are targeting middle of 2021 to begin production. While several automakers have introduced electric vehicles, Tesla so far has faced little serious competition, but that could change over the next year or so. I mean, yes, it could. It could, but this is the same story we've been hearing since 2012, when every automaker said they were going to have a variety of EVs on the market, and right quick. The truth is, Tesla said they were going to make 500,000 units this year, and despite lengthy shutdowns in both Fremont and Shanghai due to the Ro-Ro, they're still on target, which is pretty spectacular. On Tuesday, General Motors offered a preview of battery-powered and technology-packed Hummer pickup truck that it plans to begin selling in about 12 months. Now, in EV terms, whether you're talking early Tesla or current anybody else, about 12 months usually means 2 years to never. The Hummer EV is supposed to go 350 miles or more on a full charge, in line with Tesla's top models. The first edition will start at $112,000. Other models due later will be available for under $100,000. Buddy, you got the wrong car at the wrong price at the wrong time. The Hummer EV is meant to compete with Tesla's pickup, the Cybertruck, which is supposed to go into production late next year. Ford Motor, Rivian, and other makers are also hoping to bring electric pickups to the market soon. Now, Neal Boudette, no offense, is wrong. I don't know, this feels like something you would whip up in about 30 minutes, and I know the state of journalism these days, he probably had to do it. Mr. Boudette has a lengthy history as a reporter out of Michigan with extensive experience in automotive coverage and apparently some coverage of Silicon Valley as well. But in this case, he just don't know what he's talking about. This is not the dumbest thing I have ever read, but it's certainly in the top 5 for this month. There could be a lack of demand moving forward. Bold claims require substantial evidence, and there just ain't any. I could be wrong. I'm going based on everything that is currently known and nothing that is imagined. So, Mr. Boudette, with all respect, congratulations on working for the New York Times, but my God, do you have no idea what are you talking about? If you like this and want to hear some more, subscribe, do all the usual things. I don't know, I'm new at this, so let's see what happens, but I know more about Tesla than these clowns, and I know because I've made some money at it, and I've been following it for years, so let's stay juicy and just do the right thing here. Come on, folks. It doesn't cost a thing. All right, talk to you soon.